Well, hello there. Good Times with Scar, bring you another dual commentary with no other than Wall-E-Surfs.
Wall-E-surfs. Hey, this is Wally. Just joining the commentary here with Scar, special guest.
Special guest, important guest. Alright, so we're going to talk about in this commentary our first computer. Now, we'll let you take it from here, Wally.
First computer, AST Advantage. Computer came out in '95. I think we ended up buying it in '96. Was released in Vegas again at the CNET convention. It was a MMX 955 PC Pentium processor. They had the Intel in there that everybody was so excited about. Did all sorts of different things. But what's most important about this computer is it brought us into the, I guess, 21st century with games. A game called Hover. And I could have just said Hover, but there's an exclamation point at the end of the game. It's made by Microsoft. It was developed for the Windows 1995 platform. I think it required like 8 megabytes of RAM or something. Just something kind of crazy.
Yeah, you got to make sure you got that 8 megabytes. That's very important.
It was it had to be an Intel 486 and 8 megabytes. Stan Lepard, Frenchman probably, actually was the composer of the horrible soundtrack, but good for the time. Can you expect? But anyway, Scar, what do you think? What are your thoughts on that game?
Oh, I love that game, but there, the jumps and the slime for the one level. It was like underground and it had those platforms, and you could hit the jumps and you could go over the slime.
You're starting to remind me of what was that thing? You run on the grass, you spray with a sprinkler, you run, you dive, you hit the jump and take a crocodile mile.
Crocodile Mile, of course.
Except for bumper cars and
Yes, like Crocodile Mile. Yeah, but then tell me about the problem that us brothers had with one of the particular F12 keys.
I thought there was a nice option on the game where it showed your high scores. The fruits of your labor, all the hard work is shown in the high scores section. And you got 3 brothers, competitive, of course. And one guy works his rear end off, stays up into all hours, sneaks down with a bag of Lay's, playing the game in a, greasy fingers, the whole thing. You understand. You've seen pictures. And what ended up happening was a guy gets a good score. Other guy gets on, like, oh, geez, how am I going to get that? I got an idea. F12 erased all the scores. All the scores are gone. And now there's a big fight. There's discs being flown around, power cords hidden under beds. Nobody can get at the game. But that's one of the obstacles you deal with here.
Yeah, when those scores got deleted, and usually resulted in somebody taking the power cord out of the back of the computer and hiding it under their mattress.
And sometimes the power cord was hidden outside. You got people putting cords in trees.
Yeah, that's when things went to a whole other level, when somebody got that mad where they had to throw it in the tree.
Yeah, things ended up in the tree sometimes. We're not going to get into it today, but a Duke Nukem disc was one time hidden up in the tree. Duke Nukem 3D, you've heard of it, You've seen pictures.
Yes, and it was also put on a rake and rocks were thrown at it. I've seen people with Modern Warfare.
I can't handle it. All right, let's get into Hover here a little bit.
Okay, so there was one thing I remember about Hover, and games at that time, they started having secrets, like Quake and Wolfenstein, but Hover did not actually have any, but you convinced me it did.
I did. I told them all kinds of stories. Believe it or not, there's with Hover, there's three basic levels. There's a medieval castle, there's a futuristic city, and then there's a sewer system of some kind. Ninja Turtle. This whole thing was slime, and so there's 3 levels. There's tapestries. There's doors. Tell me what you try to do with this.
So you told me that there was a secret in the castle level where there's a tapestry and there's these fake faux wood doors. And you told me if I could just get inside of them, there's like a party in there. There's like double points, and you can explore. So I spent hours like banging the wall with my car.
The
like,
little explorer.
Forward.
You wanted to get in there. You wanted to explore. You wanted to get the extra coins. There's a feast. There's a feast of points. But there was no feast of points. I just wanted him bumping into the wall while I went and got the rest of the flags. You understand? Yeah. So. Yeah, funny game. There are lots of options. You were always going after the red flags. The enemy drones, which are they're bumper cars. They're going after the blue guys. You got invisibility cloaks. You can jump. You can put up a wall to slow down a guy that might be chasing you.
Oh, I forgot.
There's sometimes you run over this thing and it's a map eraser. There's a red light that can come up and it reduces your speed. There's a green light and it makes you go faster. This whole thing, I mean, you could read about it online, but it was a crazy game full of all kinds of fun stuff, but very maddening with the high scores and that clear option. If you didn't have the clear, oh man, whole different story. Whole different story.
Yeah, that was a good game. I forgot about where you could find the bubbles with the where you could drop like a wall behind you if a blue player is following you. You could drop like
Yes.
a brick wall behind you and he smashes into it.
Boom, there's the wall. What if you could do that in Call of Duty 4? Some guy's coming after you, but you know he wants to give you a knife. Boom, there's the wall. You turn around, you do a little 180, knife him. Game over.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
There you go.
Yeah, it'd be like a kill streak, instantaneous wall behind you.
Oh yeah, classic wall. But yeah, so that was the game. It was hover. It was on it was on our AST advantage. Not sure if any of you guys else out there have seen the computer. If you have, go ahead and throw up a comment. Your favorite game, favorite word processing program you might have used. There was a Crayola Creative Suite, something like that. That's not right, but this Crayola program. When you would scroll over the colors, it would go cyan, purple, yellow, and do that whole thing.
Oh, you have the perfect voice. I forgot about that.
For the kids, and if you did the water one, it would make this little wave, and it would make like a whoosh little sound, and this whole thing. And you print it out. There's bricks. You could do a brick, and then do some spray paint, and you print it out, and be proud of yourself. And put it up on your bulletin board there.
Well, what you could do was you could color in, so you could select cyan, and then you could color in the rocket, and then you could print that out, and you're like, this is what I made.
Yeah, it's like,
really,
hey.
All you did was just click cyan, and you turn the rocket.
That's right. Yeah, all you're doing is cyan. You got this funny color blue all over everything. You got blue dinosaur, blue bird, blue cat, blue rocket, and you're done. You're an artist.
And you're an artist. You're done. Just a simple print out by the Canon printer. That software actually came with the printer.
It actually, you're right. It did come. It was a Canon Bubble Jet.
Yeah.
Classic Canon Bubble Jet. There are some other features. Here's one that I've been looking at. I was never able to find this online. I feel like it was just in that one computer. Bill Gates said, "Give me that computer. I got a funny idea." Put this thing on there. Had a whole party with it.
What is it?
What it was this little blue ball, and here, jokes aside, blue balls. A little blue ball, and it was in the center of the screen. And when you ran your mouse over it, you scrolled across it, these little things would shoot off on the side, these little menus. They're little gray menus. There's a blue ball, gray menus came down, and they would have things like games, or you could access Microsoft Word or Excel from it. I think you could. We had like some Mayo health suite or something was attached to that. All sorts of goofball programs, but it was just some little thing. It was like a start menu, but it came from that ball. It was this whole thing, and it froze the computer countless times.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Well, most of the games we played in those days were demos on those demo CDs. Remember the jazz demo CD?
Oh,
you
yes.
Play all that jazz music as you would go through. There was like 1,000 menus you had to get through to get to the demos on there, but it was all these different jazz music things. What does jazz music have to do with anything?
That was, and here I'll equate it to this. Maybe some people can understand this. When you're a young guy, you're walking around an arcade, and you don't have any coins, but there's some games going, and they have that demo mode scrolling across. You grab those controllers. You think that you're piloting that ship. You think you're that army guy beating the crap out of that alien. You're not. You think you are, but it still has a little button, insert coin, insert coin, insert coin. Winners don't use drugs, that whole thing. So that's kind of what these demo games were like. I remember checking out a CD from the library, bring it home. It's got some games on it. Some of them are a little bit interactive, but there's one where you're in this little car and you're just going down these little tracks, and there's these neon colors and it's nice, and you're going up through the hills and there's goblins, whatever, but you're not controlling anything, but you think you are because you have your hands on the arrows. And I remember telling Scar, I'm like, no, Scar, you are controlling. Don't not press that turn button when it starts to go to the right, otherwise you're flying off the rails and the whole thing will start smoking. But yeah, somehow you think that the demo and the whole thing, and I don't even know if they have those demo discs anymore, but that was a hoot.
Yeah, those demo discs were funny. What were those in? Those were in gaming magazines sometimes.
Yeah, PC Gamer. I think PC Personal Computer Gamer. I think that's normally where they. I think what was that? Game Pro. Game Pro also had them in there. They came in all shapes. But sometimes it'd have a level of Duke Nukem 3D. It would have a level of Dark Forces, which only a very few amount of computers actually played that game, which is very unfortunate. DOS. I think you had to have MS-DOS, but there was a Quake on there. I think there was a Earthworm Jim, Rayman. People have heard of that. Rayman, this game. You're this guy. Your body doesn't connect. There's just a bunch of joints, and they're all kind of free floating about.
Yeah. I remember the one demo we had. It was from that PC game, and it was the Rebel Alliance.
Oh, classic,
Oh, that
classic.
game was super fun. But then then you could play that game at Disneyland. Remember the big arcade in Tomorrowland where you
Yeah,
could,
yeah. It was Rebel Assault Part Two.
yeah,
The initial one was played on earlier computers, and actually, it was. I think it might have even been made for a Macintosh because there was. I remember when I was in middle school, they had it on a computer. But yeah, Rebel Assault 2 is that one level where you had to fly in and shoot out those little things on the side of that core, and then you had to shoot a couple of the meteors. It was real goofy.
yeah. But then somehow we got one where we had another demo, but we had like 4 more levels. We never could finish the game because then it ended again. But we could play the Millennium Falcon level where you had to
Oh, where
escape.
you flew through that tunnel?
Yeah,
Oh, I just remember that. You're right.
and the TIE fighter where you had to get the TIE fighter out of the canyon. But
Yep, yep.
it was weird because you could only play like random levels out of it. You couldn't just play the game straight through.
And sometimes I feel like it would make you lose, where you'd think like, all right, maybe it should let you win. So then you're like, hey, I like this game. I'm good at this. I'm going to go buy it. If you're always losing, you're like, well, Jesus, let me find something else to do. I'll go in the cupboard and get out a box of Cheez-Its and just see how high I can stack them up. Might as well. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, I remember when you finally beat the TIE fighter level where you had to get it out of the canyon. And you beat it when I wasn't around, so you never would let me be around you when you played that game because you thought I just brought bad luck.
Oh, that's classic. That's standard
'Cause
issue.
I remember you closed the curtains too, so it was dark in the family room where the computer was.
Always.
And
And
I
then
closed it, and
I'm like, you got to get some light in here. And they're all closed. And yeah, it's just, you got to have it dark. I still do that to this day. When I'm playing Call of Duty, I like to have it dark. I just do.
yeah. Oh, this has been a good commentary here. We
So,
definitely got to talk more and come in commentaries about old games we used to play like Wolfenstein, Quake, in the coming commentaries. Well, I appreciate it, Wally, for
yeah,
stopping by
hey,
again.
appreciate having me in here. It gives me some time away from my Pez dispensers. I got this whole crazy thing with these Pez. I've been to see a doctor, but it's good for me to get in here and do something else.
Well, that's good. I'm glad I could help there, Wally.
That's right. That's right.
All
All right.
right,
Well,
guys.
good times. Good times.
All right, guys. This has been Good Times with Scar.